everyone, and welcome to a Time Shifters podcast Time Hop edition, the last Time Hop of 2024. I'm here, as always, with Tom. Tom,
Howdy.
how you doing?
Good.
Excellent. We got a chance to see a film from a filmmaker that we truly enjoyed seeing their work back when we watched and reviewed Hawk and Rev Vampire Slayers.
Yes, very funny movie.
Ryan Barton Grimley has returned with a new film, very different from Hawk and Rev, called
Very.
Listen Carefully. And I think that's why I was really interested to watch this one, because it sounded like this was definitely very opposite end of the spectrum from Hawk and Rev.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It is not a comedy. I think it does have a little bit of dark humor
Sure.
weaved within, but yeah, it is definitely not a comedy. It is a thriller.
I call it a psychological drama.
Oh, that's actually a much better, yeah, because it's not so much thriller, I guess. Yeah, psychological drama would be definitely a better moniker for it. Listen Carefully. It was written by, directed, and stars Ryan Barton Grimley. It also stars Ari Schneider and Simone Barton Grimley. Ari Schneider was, of course, the co-star in Hawk and Rev. So the whole team is back. In the film, a newly appointed assistant bank manager, Andy McNeary, is tasked with spending a night alone with his newborn baby while his wife enjoys a night out. When the child goes missing, he is stopped from calling the police by a mysterious voice over the baby monitor. The voice knows secrets about Andy, and if Andy doesn't come up with a whole lot of money by the end of the night, he may never see his daughter alive again. I wonder, after watching this film, I kind of want to talk to Ryan and just go, "Are you okay? Or what happened?"
Also kind of curious, are you a father? Okay.
That's where I'm wondering. He's like, was there a new baby, and
Right.
this was like this was a little nightmare you had, or do you just feel a little overwhelmed? What's going on?
Yeah, because this definitely kind of airs all the things that you would think a father might not do. Just straight up from the notion, like we get some of the interaction where his wife, who's trying to go out for a girls' night, who even jokes with him that, well, it'd be a date night if you'd come, and if we could get a sitter. And he's explaining they can't afford that and all that. And all that aside, but she is grilling him intensely on whether or not he knows how to take care of his own daughter, and he seems to be failing on almost every question. So either he's just working through the anxiety of being a father, or he really just doesn't know.
I think he did, where he may not have answered the questions and everything quite as succinctly and as well as maybe she would like.
Sure.
From what I could tell, from what you see him doing, he seems like he's got it handled.
At least the outward appearance of incompetence in the matter was like, really? Are you struggling with this that hard?
Yeah, we see him, he properly heats the formula and everything, and when he does talk to his wife on the phone, he's like, yeah, no, everything's good. She ate. I've changed 3 diapers, 2 poop, 1 pee. You know?
Yeah, so clearly he could get this done, but yeah, that first scene, it just made you go, what the? But then again, the first scene, of course, which is also the last scene, is he keeps having this dream / hallucination of a gang all wearing baby face masks.
Yeah, the film ends, and it even states it right there on the screen. There was I forgot to write down the author of this quote. The end is often the beginning, and so this is where the story starts at the end.
Yeah.
And I really meant to write down who wrote that and get the actual quote. And I completely zoned out. I ended up being a little busier today than I was expecting, so I didn't have everything quite in all my ducks in a row.
Yeah, but even with that, after having watched the entire movie, and I was hanging with it rather quite a bit, but even by the time we get to the end of that, you're kind of like, what did I watch? Like, is the movie intended to be essentially an anxiety fever dream about being a new dad and provider and all of that? Or is he really bad and he's just got lots of guilt for being really bad? I want a little more information.
Yeah, I took the whole thing as to be mostly just guilt-driven nightmares.
Sure.
But yeah, you end up with a main character that is effectively a unreliable narrator, because you don't know exactly where he's at. You know, whether you have no idea through any point of the film what is really real.
Yes, no, and that's the part it's compelling, and I don't know. I think it needed to be done a little bit better. This wasn't bad, but it needs some tweaks.
Some tweaks. I was going to say it's definitely doesn't overstay its welcome. It's fairly short. I think it's less than an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if actually adding in a few minutes here and there that might give you a little bit more grounding, a little bit more setup, or.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure where I want to go with this, because like I said, I could take the whole approach from two different angles. Is he just a very anxious father? He's got essentially a newborn, and he's talked about finance. We're talking about that he may be embezzling money from the bank through the story in the film, which we do not know whether, by the time you get to the end, you don't know whether or not that's real or made up. And I get some of that. So I don't know. The gang of babies at the beginning and at the end is the part that kind of doesn't fit for me. And I don't know where he's going with that. I'd like to think this really is, as I kind of said before, it's a fever dream. This is just a very anxious father trying to figure out how the future works, and his brain created this very weird thriller for him that now he's getting his way out. Because, I mean, he's worried about divorce, money, taking care of the baby, to the point where he's dreaming of having his daughter kidnapped. They still have just enough in there that, like, well, maybe he's actually guilty for actually being an embezzler. And maybe that's where some of this is coming from. And like I said, because of the way that it's scripted, it's written, the way they play out the scenes, I don't know I need it longer. I need them to maybe pick a direction and stick with it.
I don't know. The more I think of it, the more I kind of like the fact that the entire thing is really ambivalent.
Sure.
And I mean, it leaves you to kind of come to some of your own conclusions. And I have some, and I don't want to really speak them out loud in this review because
too much.
Exactly. It would be too much of a spoiler.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like I need to keep some things quiet. But
sure.
I actually kind of liked it, but yeah, it does still leave you with that kind of bad taste in your mouth. Not even bad, just weird taste in your mouth. Like, okay, but yeah, like, as you put, what did I watch?
Yeah. No, like the soup is missing something.
Yeah.
Like there's enough there. It's familiar. I kind of like it, but there's something a little bit more.
I ate it. I'm full. I don't know if I'm satisfied.
Right. Yeah. No. I feel like there's supposed to be a little something more there that would have gotten me over the hurdle that said, yes, that was good.
Yes.
There's a little something missing. But you mentioned the dark humor, and it is a humorous bit, but it's also one of the giant aggravations for me during the movie is even... I was almost on board with the voice on the other end, getting frustrated with the fact that he would keep asking him stuff and he would never answer a thing. Like, dude, you're worried that this is the kidnapper of your child, and they're asking you very pointed, very urgent questions, and you are just dragging it out. Like, I wanted to hit him over the head with something. Like, okay, you're driving me crazy. The bigger question, and it makes me feel like, did I miss something? The name of the movie is Listen Carefully.
Yes.
I wanted more out of that title.
Yeah, I don't know. Did we actually even get the words spoken by the voice?
I think they said something to that effect before, but it seemed to be more about their various ransom demands. Mm-hmm. But I wanted that to have more meaning.
I might understand where you're going, where you wanted maybe there to be hints.
Yeah, like I almost feel like, should I go back and rewatch it? And is there something in, especially all the dialogue over the baby monitors?
Yeah.
Is there something that I missed?
Is there some subtext that's in there that gives you hints to what's going on? Or yeah,
a title like that feels like that's a dictate to the audience. Mm-hmm. Less about the actual movie, more about you need to listen carefully. And I want it to be that. I really do. I want there to be that I don't know, like that inception moment where you need to kind of really pay attention so that you get your sense of how this is ending and all of that. And I think I'm missing something.
You want it to be one of those films that you watch and then you go to like IMDb trivia, mm-hmm. and then you see someone post something like, well, if you listen to, so and so says this line, which then like,
yeah,
that's what it meant.
Yeah, yeah, I want somebody to help me unravel the puzzle and I guess I want this movie to have a puzzle, and I'm not convinced it does. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the ingredients missing from the soup.
Yeah. Nope, I get it. Nope, definitely worth checking out, though.
Oh, yeah.
I am so glad that this came across, my desk, and as soon as I saw that name, I was like, well, that name sounds familiar, and then I just kept reading. Comes back after his hit, Hawk and Red, like, oh, that, yes, now I know.
Yes, want to watch
Definitely want to check this out. So, again, just as we said when we reviewed Hawk and Rev, I mean, these are guys we're going to continue to follow and see what they come up with.
And this was definitely an interesting entry after doing something like that. This is not what they made the first time.
Right.
The first one is a ridiculous comedy that's just intended to be fun. This is intended to be taken seriously.
But I think there are some set pieces that were right out of Hawk and Rev.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that there's a few spots when he's running, he goes to the warehouse. They're like in front of some warehouse or whatever. I'm thinking, that looks a lot like the door to the warehouse in Hawk and Rev.
Well, we are talking low-budget filmmaking. They reuse sets.
Yes, I think this is the same location, the same alley or whatever. So that was kind of fun. There was just one scene in particular that pointed out, I swear it was almost they still had the marks on the concrete where they had the camera sitting or something. And I'm like, yes, I know that door.
Yeah, no, I figured that, this is the place that they actually still have the keys to. So let's go shoot again.
Yes.
But yeah, no, and it's fun when you see independent filmmakers with their low-budget films make best use of their locations again and again and again.
Yes. So as I said, yeah, absolutely go and check this one out. Streaming December 16th. So go check your streaming services and see if you can find Listen Carefully. And check it out. And then, of course, come back and let us know what you thought. Drop us an email at timeshifterspodcast@gmail.com. or follow the link in the show notes to any of the social media sites and leave some comments there. All right, Tom, I think that is it's a perfect film, I think, to end the year on.
Sure.
Or at least to end our time hops on.
Yes, no. It's a good way to get a time hop out at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So we'll be back in another week with a full episode. And until then, Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
See ya.